Okay, Link, let me see that gun. And what did you name it?
BFG.
What?
BFG.
BFG? Think I'm gonna have to have a talk with your dad. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Out on the Ranch. I'm Dr. Lee, and it is another beautiful day in South Texas, albeit a little bit warm today. It's high noon right now, and it's already 90 degrees outside, headed for 100 this afternoon, and it's always one of those 100 feels like 108 because humidity is pretty darn high right here. However, the humidity is not high enough. We've just not had much rain lately. I don't know how about you guys, but man, we've not had much at all. You can see, I'm going to try to move this camera over here without too much vibration. You can see that pasture right there looks like it's just full of dead grass right now. There's not hardly any green out there. And usually this time of year, sorry guys, try to get this thing halfway square. And usually this time of year, that pasture is pretty nice and green, but boy, it's already dead now. We've seen that pasture just turn to absolute dirt out there where there was nothing growing and no evidence that anything had been growing in a long time. So hopefully we're not headed for another one of those years. I commented to Meredith the other day, we were talking about how dry it was and how hot it was, and she said, yeah, I remember last year we had all the kids in swimming lessons, and she said the kids at that time were crying at swimming lessons because the water was so cold. And I recently asked Addie, we kept them over the weekend, Addie and Annie and Lincoln, we kept them over the weekend. I asked Addie if she'd been swimming a lot this year. And she said, no, only when it's not sunny because the water's too hot. So when a first grader tells you the water's too hot to go swimming and we're barely starting the summer, that's not a good sign. Anyway, looks like it's going to be a warm one. It could be a whole lot worse. I just hope we don't get into the fire situation like we've seen before too. Anyway, how's the weather treating you guys at your place? Let me know in the comments down below. I hope y'all are doing well. And again, like I said, I hope the weather's good wherever you are, and I hope everything is going your way. Well guys, since I started posting my post office box a couple of months ago when I first asked you if you would like to send Uncle Floyd a birthday card, I've been getting a lot of cards, a lot of mail in the post office box for Uncle Floyd, and a whole lot of stuff for me too. A lot of really cool stuff and a lot of really weird stuff. So I went down to the post office today, picked up a bunch of cards for Uncle Floyd and a couple of parcels here, and let's see what we've got. This particular parcel is from our old buddy Greg Fox, one of our loyal viewers and good friends over in Houston. Let me get my pocket knife out here. Greg came and visited Matt's meet and greet program that he had a couple of months ago, so he and I got to meet personally and we had a lot of fun. So anyway, Greg, knowing Greg, maybe I should get the bomb squad to come in and check this before I open it up. But nevertheless, the old favorite pocket knife here, I think I've showed you this before, I don't really recall. Matt and Mark gave me this for Christmas probably 20 years ago, and I've carried it every day since, except for the few times it has been lost or in the washing machine overnight. It's one of those things, I have to have a pocket knife. I cannot get by without one. If I leave the house in the morning and get 5 miles down the road and realize I don't have my pocket knife, I will turn around and come back and get it. It's just one of those things. Are you guys that way too? I got called, summoned for jury duty one time, and I went in, and it was just when my little town here was becoming automated and really catching up with the times. We thought we were quite sophisticated, and they had a computerized metal detector that you walk through, and I walked in there, and the bailiff, a guy known forever, and he said, he handed me this little plastic basket, and I said, "What's that for?" And he said, "Put your keys and all your stuff like that, all your metal stuff in there, and then walk through the metal detector." And I go, "Okay." So I put my keys and my cell phone and my pocket knife in that thing, and I walked through there, and he said, "You can't have your pocket knife here. You'll have to get rid of it." And I said, "What do you mean get rid of it?" He said, "Take it out to your truck." And I said, "So I'm gonna have to be in here without my pocket knife?" And he said, "Yes, you are." And I said, "Ronnie, I would rather be in here without my pants than my pocket knife." And he said, "Lee, that's okay. I will arrest you either way." So I did go without my pocket knife that day. But anyway, let's see what Greg has sent here. See if I can get this open without cutting myself. My dad always told me, keep your pocket knife sharp. It's much easier to cut yourself with a dull knife than a sharp knife. I think those are pretty true words too. All right, Greg, let's see what we got here, buddy. It is a shirt. It is not a bomb. It is not anthrax, I don't think. And it says, "Life begins at 65, 1953, the birth of legends." Well, Greg, you should know, one thing I do know about Greg, even though we are fairly new friends, is he too was born in 1953. So, yeah, you're a legend. We're legends, Greg. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. I will wear it in good health. Maybe I'll put it on for my next video here and show it off a little bit. Greg's a cool guy. He builds Corvairs, and those are air-cooled little small cars made by Chevrolet back in the 60s. And man, I mean, he's got some that look like they just came off of the showroom floor. So anyway, thanks, Greg. I appreciate that, old bud. Oh, and one more thing. Talking about 1953, it's kind of interesting. I went back the other day. You know, they have those things that, you know, what was happening on the day you were born. But I went back to the year 1953 just to see what all was going on. And a lot of the things I knew about, it was the year of the first Corvette. And you know, I've got an old Corvette, and I've always loved Corvettes. So I always thought, I was always proud that the Corvettes and I rolled out on the same year. But also, it's interesting to look at the inflation rate back in 1953. It was less than 1%. A new house in 1953 cost about $8,500. The average yearly income was about $4,000. Gasoline cost 20 cents. A new a Kodak Brownie camera cost about $13. A pound of high quality steak would cost you 90 cents. Let's see what else. I looked at a bunch of things, but the most shocking thing that I saw on there is a color TV was $1,175. And I thought, holy cow, that's a lot for one today. And so I went and I looked to see what dollar valuation was from 1953 to 2018, and it was about 9.8. So I multiplied that price of a new color TV in 1953 to what that dollar will buy today. And if the color TVs today proportionally cost the same as they did in 1953, you would have to pay almost $12,000 for a color TV in today's dollar. So I guess that's why I never saw a color TV until the 60s. I remember when we got our first color TV, and it was a great old big thing. And I remember my dad had paid $1,100 for it. And this was back in the 60s, probably 64, 65, somewhere in there, before we got our first color TV. And that $1,100 was a ton of money. So it's interesting, they were also $1,100, a little bit more than that, back in 1953 as well. And which correlates to 12 grand today. So another good reason not to watch TV. Put my pocket knife up too early here. This one comes from WT Farm Girl. And she is a piece of work, let me tell you. She has a YouTube channel too, and that's the name of it, WT Farm Girl. And it's a really interesting channel. She and Eric try to raise their son on a farm and make life work out for them. And she's doing a pretty good job as a farm girl. She is a hard worker, and I really enjoy her YouTube channel. So go over there and check her out. She's a fun girl to watch. So we've got cards here to Dr. Lee, Uncle Floyd, and one to Matt. So let's see what we've got to say here. It says, "Hi, Dr. Lee. You are the most handsome guy and the most brilliant person I've ever seen in my entire life." Actually, it really does not say that. It says, "I know you guys don't get maple syrup down there, so I thought I'd send some out before summer hits and things get too crazy. I'm sure you have grandkids over often, so I upgraded you to a pint." Wow, there's a big bottle in here. Cool. Thanks, Suzanne. That's awesome. And goes on and on and on. So anyway, she sent us some maple syrup, or as Roger Miller called it, maple sirple, for those old people out there. All right, Michigan pure maple sirple. And I'm sure, and I'm sure she sent this because of some comments I made. She has a video online of her tapping her trees, collecting the maple syrup, and then boiling it down to actual maple syrup. That's really, really interesting. So y'all go check her out. WT Farm Girl. It's also funny, she does a little play on the words or on the letters of WT Farm Girl. I think you'll get it as soon as you get over there. Anyway, Suzanne, thank you very much. We will eat this maple syrup in good health. I love waffles, and man, nothing better than real maple syrup or maple syrup. All right, guys, what else do we have going here today? I just thought I would bring you the collection and show you. This is the birthday cards for Uncle Floyd. There's a couple of hundred of them here already, and that's not even all of them. There's some bigger ones. Greg down in Australia sent us a large oversized one, and also Albert in Connecticut sent one, and there's 4 or 5 more that are real big ones. Those are the only ones I can think of the name of the senders right now. But anyway, thanks so much for sending Uncle Floyd's cards for his birthday. His birthday is in the middle of July, so there's still time to send it. I'll put his address down in the description. So if you would like to send Uncle Floyd a birthday card, he'll be 104, and my address will be in the description. Send it to me, or send it to Uncle Floyd, care of me. That'll all be listed down there if you would like to do so. He would really enjoy that. He's had a rough time lately, not physically. He still has his physical problems, a bone marrow dysplasia that he combats and he does well with. But he's had a lot of problems, a lot of emotional. It's been a sad time. I've not been able to get many videos up because I've been spending almost every day with him recently. But we had to put his wife in a nursing home. She has severe dementia, and for all of you who've been through dementia of your spouses or other family members or Alzheimer's, man, you know what we've been through. It has been hell, and he's done very well. He's held up. We were all really worried about his health during all this, but he's a tough old guy. He's a very sentimental person. He's a very loving person, and it was really, really hard on him. So if you would remember him in your prayers. He's doing good now, but still he's pretty lonely, and it's been rough. Been a rough few weeks. So anyway, again, like I said, we would appreciate your prayers in that. Well, guys, I know this has kind of been a rather boring video. Look what I got at the post office, and catching up on some things that you already knew about. But like I said, I've been pretty darn busy lately, and I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing in the near future. I've got to get Uncle Floyd taken care of, and he still has a lot going on, so I'll be spending a lot of time with him. So my videos may be rather sparse for a while, and they may be rather boring like this one too for a while. But anyway, I'll try to get something going for you. Well, guys, thank you so much for dropping by today. Thanks for all the kindness you always show me. I appreciate your concern about me and my family, and I thank you so much for being my friend. You guys take care. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you got a good week going. I hope the weather is a little bit kinder to you than it is to us down here in Texas. Anyway, guys, thank you very much. Always remember I love you, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye now. So what you doing there, Al?
Neutering a dog, Dad.
All right. Who's going to learn you?
That's a mistake.